There I was, a 220-pound man holding down my screaming 4-year-old daughter while the 2 doctors fought to draw blood from her for the 3rd time. The entire hospital heard her shriek as she cried out to me to stop, please stop, Daddy. I don't want this, Daddy. Tears flooded my eyes seeing my daughter in this state. We didn't know what was wrong with her. Her skin seemed like it was just rotting off. Was it cancer? We really didn't know what was going on. All we know, we needed to find an answer, a solution. I paced up and down the floor when the doctor gave me a bill for one of several tests she had to do. $800 for one test. See, about 3 years ago, my family, my faith got rocked to the core when we found out our daughter was sick. We now know it's eczema, but back then we didn't know what was happening. All we knew that we were waking up to oozing blood on her bed. Her skin was rotting off. She was just scratching. We didn't know what to do. It was everywhere. We did test after test, spent all our money we had, and experienced 3.5 years of no sleep. I'm not exaggerating, guys. My wife and I had to take rotation in the night because if we had left our daughter, we would wake up in the morning with blood all over from where she would just scratch and rip up her skin. So my wife and I, for 3.5 years, did rotation. I slept until 1 o'clock, and then I get up, took her and rubbed her while my wife slept the other half of the night. This was our reality for 3.5 years. To cut this story short, let me say I was angry. I was frustrated. I went through depression. I felt confused. We went and asked for prayers. We asked for healing, and it just seemed like nothing was happening. I was questioning God. I was questioning my faith. I was in a bad state inside. I just felt like I was done. I could not take any more of this. Let's face it, none of us are exempt from hardship. And it's not a respecter of age. Hardship doesn't respect your age. It doesn't respect your family. It doesn't care about your social status. From the moment you were born, from the moment you were conceived, the battle for your destiny started. But you hold the key. Yes, you heard me right. You hold the key. Whether or not you will allow those situations to crush you or make you into a diamond. You see, a diamond can't be made without tremendous pressure. You can't have victory without a battle. You can't reach the top without having to climb a hard, high mountain or hill. You can't be an overcomer without overcoming something. You can't be alive to God without dying to yourself and dying to sin and dying to this world. So you might ask me, Mr. Merv, how did you hold on to God through those hard times? Well, I'm glad you asked the question, and so let me tell you. Firstly, I had to be honest with myself, guys. I had to be honest with my family, and I had to be honest with God. See, it's okay to be real with God, and sometimes we feel like it's not okay to be honest with God. If you look in scripture and look through Psalms, many times David was venting, God, destroy my enemies. God, why have you forsaken me? God, why this and why that? David was real, and David was honest with God. And I went through many times of questioning God and just being real and honest with God. Say, God, was it something I did? Was it something my family? Like, why is this happening? God, have you abandoned me? Have you forsaken me? God, I'm upset with you. Like, I went through it and I was real and honest with God. Guys, God can handle it. He's secure. He won't fall off his throne. He can handle us venting on him. Actually, he's probably the best person, the best God to vent on. Right? But I want to encourage you, find a safe place to truly bear your heart. That was the first thing. I had friends, I had close people around. I had a community of people that my wife and I could look to and turn to help us process some of what we was feeling. And number two, I had to remind myself of who I was holding on to. No, that took time. That didn't just happen overnight. There was a lot of battles. I said I was frustrated, but I had to remember that God is God. I had to remember that He has a plan. He cares for me. He cares for my family. He's not the author of anything evil. He's not the author of confusion. You know, I had to remember who I was holding on to. You know, this last week we went to Placentia and we were in the sea, and my second child, the same child, Grace, wanted to go to the deep. Now, this is a miracle, and that's another story for another time. But she wanted to go into the deep, and so she held on to me. And I swam out, and we went out, and we were in a really deep spot. But she held on to me and she was secure because daddy had her and she was holding on to me. We have to remember who we're holding on to. We're holding on to God. We're holding on to the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the most sovereign being in the universe. He has us. We have to remind ourselves of that. The third thing, I was reminded that God can relate to what I'm going through. You know, this is something I've practiced throughout my life. Every time I struggle with fear or insecurities, or I struggle with something, I would go and look for a scripture and see if there's anyone or anything that in scripture that can say, hey, this is what Jesus went through. And, you know, Jesus was rejected by all. Imagine that he knows what it feels like to be rejected. He knows what it feels like to have a mom and the dad that you're with isn't your dad. Joseph wasn't Jesus' dad. He had to grow up with all those things. He knows. He's acquainted with all our weaknesses. He's acquainted with everything we've gone through. He is a perfect high priest for us. So remind yourself, Jesus went through this. So it's okay. I can go through this and I will come through this as well. And the fourth thing, I had to realize that we are on a journey. And guys, this is so important. We are on a journey. We're not stagnant. We're not staying one spot. God is moving us forward. So it's important to hold on to God, because if you let go, you get stuck in the mess. If you let go, you get stuck in the fire. God is taking us through. As I pass through the valley of the shadows of death, we're going through. We're not staying there. So we have to remind ourselves of these things. We're going through. So we're either holding on for dear life, or we're holding on as we're enjoying the ride. But whichever way, you gotta hold on. Hold on for dear life. Sometimes it's like that. You're holding on for dear life. And sometimes we're holding on because we're enjoying the ride. But we gotta hold on because we're going through and we're going somewhere, right? And so those are some of the things that I had to remind myself of. And those were the truths that helped bring me through this season. And let me break it down to you guys practically. So for me, growing up as a teenager, when I was younger, this is what it looked like for me practically. I had to find something that I could own and something that I could hold on to. For me, that was music, that was worship, that was serving in the church. Those were things that I did on a regular basis, and those things help keep me. They help remind me of my foundations. They help bring me back when I strayed, because I know there was something that I was committed to. 2, I had to get clear on a vision. You need to know where you're going. Without a vision, you cast off restraint. So you gotta have a vision. Sit down, think about, where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Where do I want to be in the next 10 years? Set those things in place, and believe me, when you get clear on your vision, you'll be able to start heading a direction and reach your destination. And finally, I want to say, build your network. Guys, we call it have friends and relationship, but realize that what you're actually doing is building a network. You're building a community of people that will support you on your journey. You need that, and you need to have friends. You need to have people that are older than you. You need to have people that are the same age as you. You need to have a mixture of people around you that can support you, that can strengthen you. You can get advice from, you can get support and guidance from. They can celebrate your victories. So you got to start to build your network. So that also means be careful of who you bring into your circle. You don't want to have people that will suck you and drain you or lead you down the wrong path, right? So those are 3 practical things that I want to leave with you to empower you to hold on to God when times get hard. Guys, it's normal. Hardship is a normal thing. We don't grow in our comfort zone. We don't develop strength in our comfort zone. So when hardships come, reinterpret it and say, hey, you know what? This is a hard season, but I'll take this as a workout. I'll take this as an opportunity to draw closer to God. Love you guys so much. I pray that this was a blessing to you. Thank you so much to the team that organized this. I just pray that God will reward you guys for your efforts. Take care. God bless.